Good morning. This is Computer Science Discoveries. We are in Unit 2, which is websites, and this is Lesson 11, getting further into your style on your web page with CSS. So let's take a look, kind of an overview of everything they want you to do in Lesson 11. There's a whole bunch of new code here, and don't panic because everything will be in a little drop down and we'll give you instructions for everything you need to do. So I don't want to waste a bunch of time trying to understand what each of those do just yet. Sometimes the best way to learn is just dive in and do it. Okay? So on level number 2, what you're going to do is do some investigation. It's asking you with a partner to discuss what parts of the CSS code you think are making this page appear differently. And so let's take a peek at what is going on. Notice that images are positioned differently. We have the page blue. There's all kinds of stuff going on here. We've got some borders and so on. So the best place to do that is click on the style sheet and use your inspector tool as we're looking at the style sheet, and you can play around and start looking at what is going on with all of this. Ooh, notice this. We hadn't done much with images yet, so look at all the stuff we can play with. Float. Interesting. So as we work through this lesson, you will start moving through and discovering what's going on. On bubble number 3 or level number 3, notice that you have an awful lot of drop downs here to explain things for you. Now, I highly recommend you get in and read through those. There are a lot of options in W3 Schools you can look at for color, which is so cool. But they're asking you to take a look at the background of the entire page. Notice that right now it is colored this light blue color, and they simply want you to go in and make this background a different color. So you just have to go in here and backspace, and notice once I get it out of there, it defaults to white. So if you wanted something that was more pink, if you want to do that, you can certainly change it. Hot pink might be a little aggressive, so we might just kind of leave that. Think about what a viewer is looking at, and we don't certainly want it to be an assault on the eyes. Then it says, try to change the background color of just the paragraphs. Well, if this is the whole background for the body, that's taking care of everything. Here's some styling for that paragraph tag. So I suppose what I could do in here, and I hope what you find out, it really doesn't matter the order at the moment. Background, and notice when you start typing it, background choices will pop up. And background color, let's see what would go well with this color group. Maybe, should we try like this bisque and see what happens? Put a semicolon there. Oh, now look and see what happened here. All of my text automatically gets that background color. Well, we're playing around. Don't worry. It's just something you can do. In diamond number 4 here in this level, they're talking about body takes care of everything kind of globally on that, the whole page. So that's exactly what it says here. It wraps all of the visible content on that page. That's what we're going to work on practicing here. So as you get into level number 5, it says try out some different properties to guess and check what's going to happen. So specifically, they're saying, what do you think will happen if you add text align or color or other properties to this entire rule set? So go in, add a few lines, and put in things like text align and see what happens if you do left and see what happens. And basically do some playing. Okay. Doesn't look too dramatic there. So if you try something like to the right, oh, see what happened? Cool. Maybe center is a better option. I don't know. So you have to play around with that a little bit. Notice they have all of these other choices you can choose from, not just aligning, but there's some things with text decoration you can try out. And again, it explains here things about the body selector, colors, and other properties. When you get done with that, keep cruising right along. Level number 6 is going to ask you to take a look at the borders that have been put around the images. So as we look around, notice that we've got a solid brown border. So let's go down here. That's appearing on your image. And so it says try out some different border styles. So where you see border style solid, they're saying there are some other choices here like dotted. Ooh, well, I don't know. So I'll play around a little bit. Oh, they have double. So maybe if I went and chose double. Oh, look at that. Okay, play around. Okay, and move on to the next level. In level 7, they're going to focus specifically on this radius definition here within your border. Notice it says border radius is 10 pixels. So play around with that number a little bit. What if I said something like 40? Ooh, look at that. What if I said something like 80? Aha. Or if I decided to go back to something like the way it was, and in fact, even if I did something like super small, it's hardly noticeable. At 0 looks like corners, okay? So you go ahead and play with that a little bit, see how you can experiment with that. I think also they were talking about the float property, which is what you will do in level 8. When you look up here, you can see it explains what it does. And it says in the image, it says float left. What do you think this property does? And then change this from left to right. If I keep it back at left, then it goes there. Play around with that a little bit. When we get to level 9, here is where we are talking about the height property to control the height of the images. What does width do in the paragraph rule set? Okay. It says, what's going on in there? Let's see. Create a new rule with a height property to control the height of your images. So it looks like right here, that's the width. So if we want to do something else with height, and then we're going to have to define it somehow. Well, what if I did the same thing that's in there with the width? Oh, stretches it, huh? That looks a little strange. Play around with these options a little bit and see what you can do. As you cruise on to the next level, in 10, you're going to learn about the margin property within the image. Okay, up here it'll give you an explanation as to what it actually means. There's always that link to W3 Schools. And you've started seeing PX a lot, which represents pixels, which is all the tiny dots or points on the actual screen. They're super small. Okay, so change the margin to be larger within your image style property here. Okay, so there's the margin. They're saying change it to be larger. Look at what happens. Choose another element type and give it a margin as well. So go up and do this within one of your headings, maybe in the paragraph, and see what the effect is there. And then when you get to 11, this is one of these other checkpoints where I will be coming and taking a look at this. Okay, so here, it's time to try this out. You've seen this web page way back in lesson 7 when we were working on images. Might have been in 7 or 8 in debugging. It says, give the web page a background color, put more space around the images, make all of the text a different color, and then add any more that you want. So you have specifically 3 things to accomplish here. Work on that. Now that you've played around, you can hop back and forth. Okay. And then when you get done with modifying that a little bit, notice it's giving you a whole bunch of references here again to check back on in this level. And then guess what? It's going to bring back, ta-da, your web page, and you get to play around. They want you to choose at least 3 of these properties, whether it's background, height, width, border styles, floating, and margins, and implement some of that. And you can see mine is pretty simplistic at the moment. All right. So your job after you've gotten through all this is continue to work and develop your web page so that it looks like something that could be more out there, more colorful, and a lot more interesting visually just to look at. Good luck. May the force be with you.